Hello and a very good evening here at the Katie's Arms, where the pub is well and truly open. We were supposed to be open, or we're normally open, on Friday at 8 o'clock. So the Katie's Arms will continue on Fridays at 8 o'clock, but because the landlady is not very trustworthy and a bit errant and inclined to do exactly what the bloody hell she likes, unfortunately, we've had to move it to now. I wanted to also to explain, and I will explain where I'm going on Friday. I will share that with you. I think you're going to enjoy it. But I have to wait till after, otherwise you can imagine the sorts of consequences that I'm going to face. I made an effort, look people, and I put on a frock. And I'm thinking that's what maybe we should do if you can be asked to come to the Katie's Arms, is that you put on a frock to properly go out. I have my drink also. Some people are saying that they didn't, because I shifted the dates because I'm a shit landlady, that they didn't have any wine in their cupboard. That's a terrible situation right there. That needs to be rectified. One day when I'm suddenly hugely wealthy, I'm going to ensure that there is Merlot in every cupboard of every hard-working Brit that there is in this country. So it's been a bloody week, hasn't it, of it? I mean, it really has been a shitbag of a week. Parents up and down the country have been under huge pressure about the masks for kids in schools, being told that if you go back to school you have to have a mask on at all times, if not 3 masks, if not a plastic bag on your head, and unless you're suffocating you absolutely cannot come and learn biology. And we've been told you have to have bloody compulsory testing. A number of you, thank you so much to everybody that shares emails with me, shares documents from their schools, shares council letters, shares stuff they've received at work. It's perfect. I don't ever break confidence, never. I never share names or addresses, ever. But being able to take your actual letters and show them is really helpful for other people to see what your bloody schools are playing at. And some of them are just an outrage. The letter that says, no test, no school. Well, that's bollocks right there, because testing is voluntary. Testing in schools is voluntary. Now, I understand some schools have gone down a different route, or route, as they would say in America. And some schools are saying, if you don't get tested, we're going to keep you in an isolation box. If you don't get tested, we're going to sit your kid on their own and make them cry. And then show the friends that your kid's crying because you're the mum's a mean bastard. If you don't get tested, you don't get to come into school at all. You still have to do online learning. So schools are manipulating, coercing, blackmail, I would say, blackmailing people, students, mothers, to have their kids tested. And again, you choose to have the test, great, it's your choice, I don't care, whatever you want to do, brilliant, it's just not for me. But of course I don't get to say that to my children who are 16 and 15, my girls, because they're old enough. I can't influence their decision either. And I know a lot of parents out there feel this way as well, is that kids just want to fit in, because schools have kind of groomed kids into fitting in and not being individual. And the idea at school is that you just believe what everyone else believes and you don't have your own opinions, and there's one way of thinking and that's all you're allowed to, teachers teach kids how to think these days, not the frame of reference where they can have thoughts. They tell them, they school them in what they're allowed to think. So anyway, older kids want to fit in. I know many of you will understand that. And whereas maybe a younger child of mine might be the one who's actually saying bollocks to it. I'm not that language, because that would be inappropriate for a child. But he's not going to have the test done at all, because I don't need testing because I'm not sick. And if I was sick, I wouldn't be going to school now, would I? Little bit of logic there from a 12-year-old. Thank you very much to him for that. So I'm sorry that parents have had a shit time. I'm sorry that people are trying to coerce you into having tests. And staff, of course, it's not compulsory for the staff either. It's voluntary for the staff. And I'm sure many of you know as well that these tests it's not a binary thing. I'm going to try and demonstrate binary, which is flawed right there. I do wonder sometimes about the things I keep on my desk. I think I had this here to do when I was doing impressions of celebrities saying, you must take your vaccine. It's like this, isn't it? The government has got their hand up people's arse and is BBC Two, Radio 2. Oh, she's had her vaccine. Let's all give a round of applause to Maureen because she's had her vaccine and she feels fantastic. Like, you can't tell. Dolly freaking Parton. I love Dolly. I love everything about her. I love her boobs. I love her. I just love everything about her. I love her inappropriate trouser wear. You know, I love the fact that her tits are like 25 times the size of the rest of her and she looks like she might fall over at any moment. The entire time she was at Glastonbury, I just assumed she's going to face plant on her nose because her tits are so... I mean, her nipples... Why do we always get onto nipples? Her nipples must literally brush the floor. When she bends over to do something, I think Dolly Parton's nipples probably touch the floor. Anyway, I don't know if you heard, I'm sure you did, Dolly Parton singing about the vaccine. Vaccine, 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 vaccine. I won't sing to you. It's no bloody good if you're dead. Nice one. Maybe stick to the country stuff. You know, just a thought, Dolly. And now I was going to try and explain to you binary, wasn't I? But basically, binary, yes or no. Stop or go. This or that. You've been sold the PCR test, the testing at school, testing for COVID, test, as that. You've been told that it goes... you are positive or negative, positive or negative. That isn't actually how a PCR test goes. A PCR test, happy with this prop, is much more like this ruler. They do the test and you come out somewhere along the line. It's a scale. It's a scale. So wherever they decide to make the marker for positive, let's just say they want not too many results, they don't want too many positives, they put it here. They make it so it's actually quite hard, here. It's actually quite hard to get a positive test. You have to have all of this in your system to get a positive test. Okay, you're going to get less tests. You're going to get less positives. They can set it, the PCR test results, so that all you need in your system is this much and it's a positive. So PCR tests are not binary. They are a scale. And depending on where they put the sliding bit, will tell you how many positive tests they're going to get. Now, let's just say we want to have all positive children in, where should we lock down next? Let's say we're going to lock down Watford. I can make it so that every single PCR test that comes out of schools in Watford is positive. I just set the bar really low for people to clear. Lots and lots of positive tests. Okay, now let's lock down Watford. I picked Watford because it's where my husband comes from. He supports the bloody Glory Hornet boys. Don't even ask me why. Shittest football team on the planet. Don't have a go at me. I know shit all about football. I was just saying that to piss off my husband. My husband, people assume that I'm married to some posh banker wanker because I'm supposed to be posh. I'm not. My husband's called Lovely Mark. That's his official name. People call him Lovely Mark. Like, that's his whole name with a capital L. They do that because they're surprised that I'm married to him, because he's so nice. So they say, oh, what, you're married to Lovely Mark? Like, that can't be possibly true because I'm a complete cowbag and I must be married to a banker wanker. I can't be married to this nice guy who's got a beard and wears soft shoes and has an earring and actually has a skull as a wedding ring that I bought him because I am that cool. He also was a Labour voter. And the time when allegedly, well, it was alleged that I helped Labour. But anyway, I said if Labour were going to win, I was going to leave the country. Labour then used that as part of their manifesto pledge, which was quite rude. And then my husband, Lovely Mark, went and voted bloody Labour, which is quite rude actually, isn't it, when you think about it with a husband? If I said I was going to leave the country if Labour won, and he went and voted Labour. Might have been that my first husband was onto something there. I also wanted to, well, so many things. Shall I put the ruler down now? So stop using it in an intimidating fashion. I can show you other props that I have on this desk of mine. This, I think you're going to love. This is my best impression of the ginger dwarf from the north, giving evidence today by the fact that she's clearly freaking lied to everybody. She was trying to stuff over Alex Salmond and trying to compensate for the fact that she's incredibly short and ginger and Scottish. I definitely didn't do anything. I definitely didn't stitch up Salmond, and I'm definitely ginger and short. I was on a Zoom call the other day with Police Scotland. I know, right? Turn up for the books. It was the youth volunteers, actually, for Police Scotland. And we were just talking, we were doing kind of this. We were doing a Katie's Arms. but we were doing it more appropriately for youth volunteers of Police Scotland. And it's a funny thing because Police Scotland and I have history. We go back. Police Scotland were very pissed off at me over some tweets that I made in the past referencing the word sweaty, and let's separate that completely in a different phrase, and the word jocks or socks, something of that order. And Police Scotland were very angry with me indeed. I was in Australia working, and they actually threatened to repatriate me to the UK to face charges for an offensive tweet referencing the phrase sweaty and something that might have sounded a little bit like blocks. So 180, I guess, unless it's, I mean, probably Police Scotland still bloody hate me. That's fine because they're Scottish. But the fact that I'm now online Zooming with their youth volunteers, I think is kind of funsies. One day you can be locked up by a police force, the next you can be sending cheery messages to their youth volunteer squad. Good. I wanted to also share with you, and I promised to go to questions. I always forget, don't I? Because I just sit here and basically chat. You'll notice daffodils, yes. This week, embarrassing thing. I don't know, can anyone see, where's an obvious mole? Someone actually said to me I should get this mole checked because they were like, oh, there, look there. So I am quite moley. Most people at this point are like, my moles have been commented on a lot. My son, when younger, used to practice dot to dot on them, which is also quite rude when you think about it. Anywho, I am quite moley. I wish I wasn't. I am. There's nothing you can do about moles. You can't set traps for them like I would if it was the farm. Do you know about mole traps? I have to explain to you about mole traps at some point. I know probably vegans will just, well, there won't be any vegans on this feed, will there? But the way that you can detonate moles is amazing. Anyway, back to my moles. I had to go and have them checked. I have them checked once a year because all of my family have had various bits of their body cut off. And we're quite a cancery kind of family. I've always said that if you put together all the different bits of cancer that my family have had cut off, you could nearly make a whole person, if we're honest. My father, bits of his head, his ears. My mother, different bits, which we won't go into. We're like properly cancery, actually. Anyway, so I have to have my moles checked. I don't know how many of you out there have had their moles checked. Hold on, drink. But it's quite embarrassing. I'm pressing questions as well because otherwise I'll never remember. So somebody has to get like a little magnifying glass thing. You stand there butty bollocky naked, which I'm not bothered about at all. Like being naked for me is absolutely fine. I'll get naked in a jiffy anywhere. Most people who've spent any time with me have lived through that. Embarrassing. I'll take a pee anywhere and I'll get naked anywhere. So there I am, butty bollocky naked with some pants on. And the poor guy has to get this bloody microscope thing and honestly go up to these moles to look at them like this. And if you imagine some of the moles, this is way too much detail for boys, but are quite near my foof. So he has to get his little magnifying thing, get into the foof area, at which point his mouth and his nose are, I'm just saying, they're in there. And as I walked towards the little doctor's thingy that I had to go into to have my foof out and have my moles checked, he said, I've got a student doctor with me today. Are you happy that he's in here? And I was like, yes, that's fine. So it was two men, or a sort of boy person, and a man inspecting my foof at close quarters to check that I'm not super cancery. I don't really know what the point of that story was. I suggest there really isn't much of a point. But the point of it, I suppose, is that these are the humiliating experiences we have to go through. And all these bloody women on telly that pretend to be perfect, and bloody Holly Willy Booby, and all of the rest of them with their bloody adverts. For what is that trout doing, actually? What's she called? She is Ginger, and I don't want to focus on the fact that she's Ginger. She was on Strictly. Darlings, you're going to have to help me. Somebody's going to need to message me with the name. I want to say Stacey. She was like very good, did great documentaries, a lot of budget, was able to get to places most people couldn't. She was kind of, I liked her a lot. She turned up in tragic clothing, but looked kind of great. And now she's like doing this weird advert where she's got this kind of leotard thing on and then dances around with just a leotard, and you are kind of transfixed on her foof. Not just because she's ginger, but because she's in a leotard and heels dancing around to advertise some sort of hair product. I find that deeply disturbing. But so I'm not sure what the point of my mole story was, other than real women aren't perfect. We do have issues. And when you're standing there with someone with their nose literally up your foof to work out whether you've got cancer or not, you do think, life isn't perhaps as glamorous as many of us have been led to believe. This may be all too much for like 20-year-olds who are still like perfect and have like skin elasticity and things like that. Right, hold on, I'm going to press this bloody question thing. Ta-da! My opinion on gay people, would you please? So there's this idea that I also have to do sensible chats about what I think is actually going on, because I promised we were talking about that at the bar tonight, so we must do that. So gay people first. Hold on. Now I'm not in any way generalising and inferring that this has anything to do with gay people, but I will just say part of the homework involves these. So, and like I say, this has no reference to gay people other than it would be very hard for me to be anti-gay and own these shoes. I'm just saying. Most people think I am maybe drag or maybe trans. I'm not, but I don't mind that I am, or might look that I might be. It doesn't bother me at all. And as for being gay, I've been a gig, I guess, or I've been a person at Gay Porn Idol. I had a brilliant night. It was fantastic. And I don't want to do that thing where I say, oh, I've got friends who are gay, because that's a really bizarre thing to say. What I will say is I have the ability to turn straight men gay. So I had a boyfriend who I still love deeply, and he was always gay, but he just borrowed me as a girlfriend because he wanted to take me home to show his mum, to make his mum and dad happy, which I love him for dearly. And then he came out as gay once he'd started dating me, because just trying to date me was so horrific that actually coming out to his very closeted family as gay was easier than dating me. So in many ways, I've kind of been helpful to the gay community because I have been able to, let other people come out, because the horror of dating me was too awful. But yeah, no, I don't even have a thing for gay people. I just, anybody who can vaguely bloody laugh at life, fantastic. Most gay men know that I love them. Gays for Trump, I adore. Most of my Brad boyfriends are part of the gay army as well. And also, if you like muscles, please. That's not really a straight thing all the time, is it, darling? So I don't think it's even a conversation. I think it's really dated to imagine that somebody who's vaguely conservative in their views doesn't like gay people. There's no logic to that at all. You have this political thought stream, therefore you must hate these people. That's such bollocks. And it's so simple and simplistic. Right. I must quickly do this thing about what I really think's going on, which is like the most massive thing of our whole time. So I'm not trying to rush it here at the bar. But here's my 2 penneth worth, is that we are being deliberately crucified. We are headed into the 4th industrial revolution. I believe that wholeheartedly. We are headed to the point where humans will be hackable humans, the merging of automated intelligence and artificial intelligence and humans. I think that's where we emerge from this. We don't ever return to normal in order to create a few tech tyrants that run this whole thing and eradicate capitalism and society and culture and values that we know. This is the start of that, and we're quite a long way down that. If we were able to see the level of robotics and human blended robotics that they have and are working on, we would wake up and be terrified. Elon Musk and others, the ability to wire humans and become some sort of interface with computers and artificial intelligence that's way smarter than us. This is the long game, I think. And I know people say tinfoil hat, conspiracy theorist, all the rest. But it turns out so many times conspiracy theorists are often truth tellers. They just never get the record corrected, I don't think. And if you think of all the things that have happened to us over this last 12 months since the creation of a global pandemic and lockdown, which I believe is the greatest hoax in human history, we've been told to be very afraid, and fear is the most effective way of, taking control of people. We have been given a daily death toll. We've been refused medical help. Many of our cancer sufferers have been refused medical help, even though I had my moles checked. Guilt. We've had curfews imposed. We've had our businesses closed. We've lost jobs. We've been restricted from seeing loved ones. People's hearts have been ripped out. We have been forbidden from socialising, forbidden from protesting. We've been assaulted in the streets for politely and peacefully protesting. We've been arrested and fined, and all of this has been construed on a bed of artificial data created off the back of an artificial, in my opinion, pandemic. So this is a deliberate thing. Build back better will mean we never build back what we had. I think the desire and the intention is to rip out and remove the middle classes, and we will reach a point where no one owns anything, and we will be put on a universal income, and we will be divided between the useful and the useless. The useless society will be given a universal income and will be unnecessary. And I think that's interesting when we look at some of the verbiage. I love that word being used already, isn't it? With essential workers or necessary workers. I heard today on the radio, everybody is necessary and everybody is essential. And please, please, please try and refrain from using those phrases. I'm an essential worker. No. Everybody's essential. And the old lady in the home who doesn't know who she is essential to someone. We're all essential and we're all necessary. Do not be guided down the road of language by the government, who are lying to you through their teeth. On the mention of teeth, of course, Rishi Sunak. Give me a sodding break. Starch collars, nice teeth and nice hair will only get you so far, Rishi, my little flower pot. What he did today was absolutely disgusting. 4.5 million self-employed people will be targeted to try and get furlough money back from this country. They will be beaten with a stick when 3 million of those self-employed individuals have never received a penny in furlough from the government. Excluded UK is doing a fine job of trying to help highlight that, and my heart goes out to everybody in pubs and hospitality and wedding and all the rest of it, who've not received a penny and are now going to be persecuted more. So you can hear me, I could babble on for hours about what I think is going on, but I think it's all a load of bollocks. I think COVID is a hoax. I think lockdown is a hoax. Clearly there was some seasonal flu, but we didn't need to crucify our economy over it, and we should have been given personal choice, and we've lost too many freedoms down that route. Enough of being sensible. Let's find out if... am I going to start a live YouTube stream? Oh, I don't know about that. It's tricky. It's tricky because I don't actually like talking directly about myself. It's why you've never heard lots of things that I'm talking about. I've never ever talked about my husband or children. So doing more of these, I don't know. I feel a bit shy about it all, which I know is laughable for this woman that's eternally speaking on camera to things. But I don't know about doing a live stream somewhere else. I feel also a loyalty to my Instagram family. I like what we've built up here. I like that people can find each other here. And it strikes me that YouTube is run by a bunch of bastards. So I'm not sure why I would want to, give them more of myself, darlings. Should we give ourselves to YouTube when they're a bunch of bastards? I don't know if we should. £7,000 paid for the first mask discrimination case. I saw that. I'm very excited by that. Someone just asked me, how are you? How sweet is that? That's such the sweetest thing. Actually, that's how I ended up married to my first husband. Would you believe it? He was married to someone else at the time. Slight inconvenience. And I was at the end of a long day, about 8 or 9 o'clock at night in the office, all still in the office. Everybody else had gone home apart from me, and I was working away. Genuinely, I was working. I know. It was the old days. I realised I still had to do some. And he was kind of the boss. And so I asked him, how are you? And that was the start of it. That was the start of a marriage and, 5 years and children and all the rest of it, just by asking, how are you? How about that? Maybe, oh, yes, I had an idea. So one, maybe that's an idea. If you're single, just ask someone, how are you? Right? Because maybe they haven't been asked that, just like that person there said. And then that's going to be the start of a marriage. I mean, admittedly, that marriage lasted less than a year. And it did piss off his existing wife. So, there's some downsides. And all my friends said he was a twat. But just that simple question. So my other idea here, and it sort of came from my Insta family, is so there's Tinder, right? And Grindr and all of these other dating sites, which are useless at the moment because everyone's too freaking scared to look at their own freaking reflection in a mirror because everyone's paranoid and the masked perverts are everywhere. I thought about, what if we started our own dating site here on the Katie's Arms, and we could call it Kinder. So it'd be like Katie Tinder. But then I realised Kinder actually spells kinder. And I thought, there you are. So that how are you thing linked to that, we could have a dating app that's called Kinder, secretly kinder, but you don't have to be kinder. You can just be more blunt or more rude or tell people to piss off if you can't be bothered. What we need is a dating site where if you sit with someone for 1 minute and then you look at them and think, nah, not for me, that you can just say that, nah, not for me. Nah. Because we all know, don't we? It's like job interviews, isn't it? You know within 1 minute whether you're going to employ that person or not. And then you've got to spend the next bloody 45 minutes chatting to them about a job you're not going to give them just because you feel a bit sorry for them. Whereas if you just saw them, thought, nah, thick as shit, sorry, not for me, we could all get moving a lot quicker. This is the sort of stuff that got me into trouble for being too blunt. But actually when you hear it kind of a bit more kindly, you see that it makes a lot of sense. We could all just cut the crap, be honest with each other, save each other. Anyway, dating site, thinking about that. Right, what are we doing? We only have 4 minutes to go. And we've got to get in homework. And I should really... snog, marry or avoid. Piers Morgan, Rishi and Boris. What a great question. Piers Morgan, snog, marry or avoid. So Piers Morgan, it would have to be avoid just because... Seriously, guys, I know the boy. He is a chunker. He's somebody on the Good Morning audience needs to get him to stand up, because you see you've got him from here and that's all. Men can cope with that because they wear jacket and whatever. Get him to stand up. It is bad. Piers Morgan has not seen his penis for at least, his dick head, so he sees it in the mirror, but he's definitely not seen his penis for a very long time. There's a lot of fat. Look at this bit on him. Huge. If Susanna Reid was the size of Piers Morgan, she would not have a job. Just saying. So that's got rid of the avoid. Snog or marry. Snog, I would snog Rishi Sunak. Mostly just to piss off his wife, honestly, because she's like super wealthy and claimed furlough for 100 or so of her employees. That pisses me off. Also, I'd like to see what goes on with Rishi's teeth when he's kissing, because they are big teeth. And I wonder how that would work. Marry Boris. Yeah, because Prime Minister's wife. Imagine the damage I could do. People think that his girlfriend or his future wife, are they married yet? I don't think so. They think she's dangerous. Imagine if it was me at number 10. I'd kill that freaking cat, for one thing. Right, my darlings, I've got to go. So, we're going to aim for next Friday at the Katie's Arms, okay? And I will update you, I promise. And when I'm up to my naughtiness, I will share it with you. And if it involves the police, I'll share that with you too. Homework. You might need a pen for this. I will demonstrate pen with this handy prop, which is actually a pen. Your homework. I think it's Lady Gaga. Teeth. I was inspired by Rishi Sunak and his mighty teeth. He is the spanker in chief. He's spanking out taxpayers' cash. I don't know if you saw my video earlier today where I likened him to a Pornhub star because he's the chief spanker. Spank, spank, spank. That's all he's been doing with our cash. Anyway, because he has massive, mighty teeth. So what I need you to do is find Lady Gaga and her song Teeth. Best song ever. I ran to it today. And then I need you to put on a pair of these. Now, you might not have these, but I suggest you get something similar. And the idea is that even if you wear pyjamas all day, every day of your life, or just tracksuit bottoms, and tracksuit bottoms without underwear, darlings. My gay friends tell me that it's very hot. I'm not getting it. guys queuing at Tesco's early on a Sunday morning with tracksuit bottoms and no underwear. Anyway, you have to put on a pair of these, and you have to, with your pyjamas if required, or your tracksuit bottoms without underwear on a Sunday morning when you go to Tesco's to get some milk, and you have to listen to Lady Gaga's Teeth. And then I want you to move your little bottom around your house wearing these, listening to Teeth as loud as you can put it on. Because I promise you, if you're still feeling pissed off after you've done that, well, I mean, you need a serious medical intervention. Right, my darlings, thank you all for joining me, or whatever, maybe thousands of you, bless you, golly. Life must be boring, darling, if we're all here together, mustn't it? And I will speak to you soon when I'm on the road somewhere, hopefully. And for now, remember, this is shit. I believe this is the greatest hoax in human history. You're not mad if you think that. Rishi Sunak is the spunk trumpet in chief. If Piers Morgan was to stand up, remember he can't see his own penis. He's at least 3-4 stone overweight and is morbidly obese. Please remember the ginger dwarf from the north is not only ginger, a short, but also Scottish. And remember, sparkly shoes, Lady Gaga, Teeth, dance around your kitchen. Okay, I love you all very much. Keep going, little troopers. We know this is all bollocks, but we're going to find a way through, and we're going to refuse to become, part of the animal generation. We're not going to be hacked humans, darling. That's going to be our motto. And I will see you all sometime next week from wherever I am. And I hope you all have a really lovely evening.